Hi everyone, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you're new here, my name is Stephanie and I cover oily skin, hooded eyes, and beauty. So in today's video, I'm going to be testing out the Beauty Blender for the very first time. And while I'm testing it out, I want to see if it's better wet or dry. I normally use dry beauty sponges for my foundation and my concealer, and then for my translucent powder, I do use a damp sponge. So I've been doing it this way for years, but I know that this Beauty Blender was designed to be used wet, so I definitely want to try that out. But I also want to compare it to how I want to use it, which is dry. So let's get into it. So I really like to use my sponges dry because I feel like I just get a much fuller coverage. I feel like I'm not using as much product as I would if it were wet. And it does look a little bit more natural because it kind of looks like it's giving you like this natural glow. But I have oily skin. My skin will give me that natural glow within hours of wearing it. So to test this out, my left side is gonna be the dry side and my right side is gonna be the wet side. So even with my concealer sponge and my translucent powder sponge, I'm gonna be using them all dry and then all wet. And I really wanna see what the difference is gonna be as far as the Beauty Blender goes. So I've already primed and prepped my skin and I've already done my eyebrows. I'm just gonna put my hair back really quick so that way we can get into this. So we're gonna start on the left side first, and it's gonna be the dry side. So I'm just gonna get out my Beauty Blender, which is insanely tiny. I know that it's supposed to double in size whenever it is wet, but oh my God, it's tiny. I'm gonna go in with my favorite foundation, which is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place. So I've watched videos on how to use the Beauty Blender, and they're rolling and pressing the foundation into their skin. So that's what I'm gonna be doing as well. Alrighty, let's do this. Okay. This is probably gonna take a lot longer than I'm used to. Okay, the pressing and rolling it's too slow for me. I'm just going to bounce. Ooh, it did get in my pores though, which I'm not used to because normally I have to get a brush to blend in the foundation into my jumbo pores on my nose, but I actually didn't have to do that this time. That's pretty nice. All right, okay, so this feels super nice. I really, really like it. And it's super soft. I forgot to mention like how it feels. It's super soft and it looks very porous. So it looks like it's gonna be soaking up all of your foundation, but I don't think it really soaked any of it up like beauty sponges normally do. I am actually super shocked. I cannot believe just how much it has filled in my pores. That's insane. All right, so that is the dry side. I'm gonna go wet the sponge really quick and then apply foundation on this side. All right, so it is wet and it is time to apply my foundation. All right, let's get started. My foundation doesn't look too watered down like it normally does whenever I have used a wet sponge in the past. I feel like it's a little bit easier to blend out. It is very, very wet though, like wet looking. It looks very, very dewy, which, I mean, I don't mind that look. I don't at all. I don't know how I feel about it on my oily skin. The coverage does look the same. It really does. I don't like how wet it is. I don't like how wet it looks. I just feel like my skin isn't gonna really appreciate it throughout the day. It's just gonna add to my oils. I do really, really like the design of this Beauty Blender though. It did not soak up my foundation like I thought it was going to because it looks very, very porous. And normally whenever I do put on foundation with a wet sponge, the coverage is not as full as how it looks with a dry sponge, but with this one, it really does. All right, so I'm just gonna move to concealer really quick. I'm just gonna use my Shape Tape, and it is in the color Light Sand. I'm gonna do the left side with my dry sponge. I'm just gonna blend that out really quick. And this sponge is not a beauty blender, it is just a detailed sponge from Luxie Beauty. All right, I normally don't highlight, so I'm just gonna go straight into my translucent powder with my dry sponge, which is also a Luxie Beauty sponge. And I'm going to use my Peach Perfect from Too Faced. I'm just going to bake my face, the left side of my face. everywhere I crease. I want my foundation to stay in place because of my oils. So while this is baking, I'm gonna go wet my sponges so I can do this side of my face. Okay, so I'm back and I'm just gonna take off my bake really quick because it's been baking for a while now. I've had to do other things while I was wetting my sponges, so I'm just gonna take this off because I don't want it to get too crazy. Let's go ahead and finish this side. It's the wet side, so I'm gonna go into my Tarte Shape Tape again, my wet Luxie sponge. My face actually doesn't even look like it's wet anymore. My skin soaked that up. Could Beauty Blender be changing my mind? All right, now I'm gonna take my wet Luxie sponge and just bake. I use this wet anyway for baking, so this is my preferred way to do it. I feel like it just doesn't pick up as much and you're not looking so powdery and so cakey. It picks up just enough for you to cover the areas that you need to have covered, and it gets the job done. I'm just gonna let this set and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back and I went ahead and just dusted off my translucent powder, and I'm kind of really liking both sides. I feel like there is just the same amount of coverage from the wet side to the dry side. The finish is the exact same. The wet side dried pretty quickly and just my skin absorbed everything. It didn't really look like it was transparent at all or like it was watered down, and I don't look like a greasy mess. And it filled in my pores even when the sponge was wet. Just looking at my skin, looking at both sides, I think that they just look so good. And I don't think that you can even tell which side I used the wet sponge and which side I used the dry sponge. All right, so I'm gonna put on the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. I'm back with the rest of my makeup, and I gotta say my makeup is looking so good. I actually forgot that half of my face was done with wet sponges and the other side was done with dry sponges. They both look so good. You can't tell the difference at all. So this is definitely not how I thought this video was gonna go. I really thought that I was gonna say, look at this dry side, it looks amazing, it's flawless, and look at the wet side. But oh my God, like I love both sides, and Beauty Blender has definitely changed my mind. So let me know down in the comments below, have you guys tried the Beauty Blender? Have you tried it wet? Have you tried it dry? If not, go experiment and let me know what you guys think about it. If you like this video and the Beauty Blender, please hit that thumbs up, and thank you guys so much for everything. Please subscribe. Thanks. Bye.